go. Let's see if we are live. I just wake up recently, so I will probably still have my morning voice. So let's see. Where is me? Here we go. We are almost ready. We are ready to go. So welcome again, children of the night. We got defeated yesterday in this adventure named a Princess of Zamarra. Doing a very briefly recap, I'm an orc. I am on a mission by a wizard called Mogred. He make a bunch of orcs kidnap a princess. We took the princess, bring back to the Mogret. Then we made a fight to each other, and I won. The second part of the mission, he transformed myself into the princess, and he sent me to the castle of the citadel to kill the king. So yesterday, as soon as I arrived as a princess in the castle after dinner, I chose to go directly to kill the king, but some kind of magic protection happened, and that I was not a princess anymore. I was returning to be an orc, so everybody saw me in my natural form and fight me, and of course I died. So I tried to go again with the same path most closely that I can, and I found myself in the same situation. So instead to go directly to the king's room and killing, I decided to just go back to my room and sleep for the night. So here we are. You return to your room and climb into the four-poster bed. It's a bit too soft for your taste, but you're so exhausted from all the plans that you soon drift all to sleep. Sunlight is filtering in front the arched windows awakens you, and I restore 4 stamina. You give a great stretch, then start to dress. No sooner have you done so, the maid throw open the door and start putting a new dress on you. Why this human insists on changing their clothing so often is beyond you. The maid raises an eyebrows as you once again gather your equipment, but she says nothing. You reach King Elidor's audience hall to find the king on the throne, talking softly with his advisor, who all bow politely at your entrance. "Ah, my dear," says the king, "I'm glad you are here. An abbot of the Vasari order has arrived from one of the monasteries in the east. Please stay while I'm summoning. Do you wish to stay in the audience chamber, or would you rather avoid the monk?" Huh. It's probably the monk that I encounter in the woods that give me that wooden medallion? Probably he is, probably is not. Let's see. Oh no! Thank God I had this one. Oh, you sit at your father's side, and a grey robed monk enters the youngest chamber. He bows the king before fixing his piercing gaze upon you. The monk's eyes start narrows as he looks upon you. Sire, says the abbot, do you realize you are sitting next to an orc? Oh, you motherfucker. The king's looking alarm, fears the monk, and then at you to back to him. Whatever you he demands. How dare you to insult my daughter so? I'm afraid she's not your daughter, your majesty, he observed. He makes the sign of a cube with his hand, and immediately your body begins to painfully return to its natural form, causing gasp for all assembled and turning King Elidor white as shit. Can this be true, he gasped. No doubt you'll be able to convince the king once he's subject to a host of questions which you want to know the answer. You bolt from your seat, but this just proves your guilt. You are set upon by 4 bodyguards and quickly brought you down. The royal interrogation will soon find out the location of the real princess, and then the best you can wish is for a merciful death. I knew it. Okay, thank God I had saved the previous decision, so let me do this, and let me do quickly do this. So again, I retire for the night. This time I will avoid the monk. You ask if you can be excused as you have a splitting headache. The king furrows his eyebrows. I'm sorry, my dear, but it would be a grave insult to the Vasari order for you not to see them. I needn't remind you the role they played in lighting the sentinels to save us for all Ostrogoth, but they are also expert in medicine. I'm sure the abbot can do something about your head. Ay. Father, it may cause offense if I am unable to muster much enthusiasm to greet the noble abbot. I feel it would be the best if I retired into my quarters. The king strokes his beard, then nods. Perhaps you're right. I shall make you an excuse to the abbot. You bow and leave the ozen chamber, heading from your quarters. On your way, you nip into the kitchen and swipe a couple of sweet cakes. You then return to your room, wait a couple of hours, then head out once more, telling the maid that you have made a remarkable recovery. You nod to several lords and ladies as you wander the citadel's corridors. Servant curtsy and bow, but you pay them little heed, for all orcs are dismissed as evil by humans. At least you don't believe in all of this formal hierarchy. With little else going on in the citadel this afternoon, you decide to pay visit to the training yard to find surly-looking sergeant at arms drilling the troops. One bandy-legged brick is trying to best to finish his 50th press-up, the weight of a sergeant's disapproval clearly not helping him. When he eventually collapses, the sergeant toots loudly and turns to you. The sergeant looks up to you. The sergeant looks you up and down. You carry a lot of gear, princess, and I hear from my men that you felled a monster or two in your way home. Perhaps you'd like to show some of the whims our princess fights. He hands you a wooden sword and another to a skinny recruit with a close-shaven ginger head. He peers at you uncertainly from a freckled face. Go on, say the sergeant. First touch is the winner. You square up to your uncertain opponent. Your opponent may look green about the gills, but is a competent swordman. The straight wooden sword doesn't suit your sweeping blows, and he is able to parry your clumsy swipe away before pressing the point of the sword against your chest. You conduct another 2 duels, and though you manage to scrape a victory in the second, you are bested in short order in the third. It's a wonder you managed to stagger your way back here, my lady, said the sergeant, but never fear, I'll make sure to train this one well so you'll never be left unprotected again. It turns away from you and starts barking commands to the soldier, a bit of an insubordinate way to treat his princess. You note a couple of knights off to the side snickering to one another till they adopt an impassive face as soon as they spot you looking. Concocting some punishment for them in the future, you storm off. Gain 1 rage point. I got 1 rage point. Okay. Evening is starting to fall, so you enter the dining hall and enjoy a meal of quail and poached pears with the king and his senior advisor. It is a little too dainty to fill you properly, but it does take the edge off your anger. The idle chit-chat and gossip at the table is near intolerable, however. After their meal has ended and everyone shuffle off, you consider whether tonight would be time to make an attempt on the king's life. Do you wish to do so, or you prefer simply to go to bed? I need... if I go, I will die like before. Let's go to bed. Returning to your chamber, you crawl into bed and are soon fast asleep. You awaken refreshed, you're getting used to soft beds. After the usual rigmarole of your maid dressing you and her disapproving gaze as you strap on your equipment, you are greeted by that livered servant. My lady, he rasped in a dry voice, your fiancé, oh my God, Rold Rudolph has arrived in the citadel with his entourage. He has a request to see you. You ask the servant to show you to him. He leads you to the throne room where an handsome black-haired Popinjay is talking with King Elidor and his courtiers, laughing loudly and slapping his thigh. Bahadur stands in a corner, rolling his eyes at every over-the-top guffaw. When the servant announced your presence, Rudolfo bowed low with a sweep of his feathered head. Oh, my dear, he says, I cannot begin to tell you how delighted I was to hear you had returned safe and sound. He kneels to kiss your hand. In the shadows, Barahur grimaces. I see what's going on. Why you don't have spent the whole day together, my love, said Rodolfo. An excellent suggestion, says King Elidor. It will give the two of you more time to get acquainted before the wedding. Indeed, says Rodolfo, it seems so long since the two of us were cantering across the right mark. How would you like to spend the day, my dear? Margaret wants you to kill Rodolfo. Perhaps it might provide a good opportunity to do so. But what activity would you suggest? Horse riding, dancing, attending a musical performance. This one. Attending a musical performance. Rodolfo says he thinks it's a marvelous idea. He leads you to this carriage, and the driver takes you out in the inner citadels to the house and shop that swarm with the common folk that lie between the two outermost walls. Most of the buildings here were destroyed by Ostrogoth armies. You remember pillaging quite a few of them yourself. But the industrious Zamarrans soon rebuilt, and the town is now flourishing. The carriage stops, and Rodolfo takes you. By the hand to lead you to a high-class three-story establishment made of white painted brick and black wood. Commoners bow at your pass, few of them having seen novelties close before. When you enter the tavern, the landlady gives you the finest booth with the best view of the wooden stage. You are provided. Yeah, I don't need this. Maybe this one. When you enter the tavern, the landlady gives you the best booth with the best view of the wooden stage. You are provided with a dinner of crabs so succulent it's much more compensated for putting up with Rodolfo idle chatter. Yeah, not so epic. Vain bows and tedious sonnet. You may add 4 stamina point for the feed. Finally, is forced to shut up when the variety of the show begins to perform on stage. First up is a jester telling jokes that are far too civil for your taste, but at least he complements them with the odd number of 2. With the odd tumble of 2. Next is an elf girl singing some ballads about the sea and the forest, and the usual rubbish elves always singing about. Rodolfo seems inept to it while you force yourself not to grit your teeth through every high note. At last she finishes, and a band takes the stage, playing some sophisticated piece that bore you to tears before moving onto some jonky folk tune that are much more fun. The whole clientele of the tavern are soon clapping along, and you finally begin to have some fun. Rodolfo seems to be enjoying it too, particularly a clarinet solo that leaves him with tears in his eyes. By the time the performance is over, evening has started to fall. Rodolfo offers to walk you back to the inner keep, offering you his clothes to keep you warm. He starts to talk about when you will be married, and he will be the king of Zamarra, and all the great things he shall achieve, asking for very little input of you. As you turn down a dark and deserted street, he sighs. You know, I didn't always want to be a king. I want to be a musician one, but my father never would allow it. I always loved clarinet music. Hearing it today brought it all back. My father would even let me take a single lesson. I suppose I could take it up now, but perhaps it's too late. Do you take the opportunity to spring an attack on Lord Rodolfo, or you keep quiet? I go. Directly. Attack. Rodolfo gives a cry of alarm as you lurch at him. A weapon draw, he pulls forth his own sword just in time. He's dead? Yes. One. Yes. As Rodolfo falls to the cobbles, bleeding his last, you hear the sound of approaching footsteps. Hastily, you run in the opposite direction, disappearing to the night. You find a disused stable in which to hide and listen out scream of alarm. They are not long in coming. Soon a search party of soldiers is looking for you, concerned that you must have been attacked. You come out of the stable blubbering, two of the soldiers walking past, crying that you and Rodolfo were set up among some muggers. When they tell you the young lord is dead, you wail hysterically. The soldier exchanges a glance, then escort you back to the citadel. You are met by King Elidor, who comforts you, saying he will make tomorrow a day of mourning for Rodolfo, and at best look to find a replacement fiancé, muttered the king's advisor, Lord Taniscus, half to himself. It's now quite late, and most of the citadel inhabitants have retired to their chambers. You convince the chef to whip you up a small meal and scoff it down to the kitchen. Relieved that you don't have to affect airs and grace. Once you've finished, you contemplate how to spend the rest of your evening. Along the battlements. Let's go to bed. I don't know. Let's do this. Let's go and be absolutely let's go to kill the king. Let's try, and then we can go just to bed another time. Let's try to kill the king. Okay. It's the same of the other day. There is some kind of magic. Can I use the Buddha medallion? Use? No, doesn't do nothing. Oh yeah, they are too strong, for fuck's sake. They are too strong. There must be another way. Okay, one is down, but I can. Let's fight the second one. Oh! I killed the guards! Gimme provision. Use. 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 Okay. The two guards are lying dead before you, but you can see the king standing behind his bed, screaming at the top of his lungs for help. Already the clatter amount of feet can be heard coming up the stairs behind you. You have faced the new guards, rush toward nearby open window to dive into the sea. No, come on. Rush towards a nearby open window and dive into the sea. Let's fight. No. Oh, fuck. If I go back, I can't go back. You meet the first soldier in a clash of blades. Soon I dispatch him to the two more of you. Once fall, then another. But there are always more to replace them. I knew it. Steadily, they dive you back toward the wall as one swipe slice open your forearms and another tear into your legs. You drop to one knees, raising your weapons to ward off the rain of blows to a level avail. But the time they are done with you, you are little more of a lump of flesh and blood yet. Of course, I knew it. Well, let's go. Let's do this. Let's go to bed. It was a heavy night. Let's go to bed. It's been a pretty grueling day. Exhausted, you crawl down to bed. You are awakened the next morning by something flapping above your face. You open what bloodshot eye and behold a grave hawk hovering above your face. A scroll crouched on its talons. You snatch this from the bird, but flies off out the open window. And unfurl the scroll is a message from Margaret. Oh Jesus! Oh boy! Oh boy! Friend, I trust everything is going to plan on your hand. Unfortunately, I have some green tidings. I do not know how she managed to do it, but somehow Princess Zamarra has managed to escape my clutches. You are an idiot. I fear she might be making her own way back to the citadel. I will try to recapture her, but should she prove elusive, be on your guard. If you have not already taken care of Elidor and Rudolfo, do it so quickly. You hastily tear up the message and throw the scraps in the fireplace. You determine to be done with King Elidor tonight, but how will you spend the day? You go hunting with the sun of the night? Go to the library for a spot of reading. Seek out Astragal apprentice Mira for some arcane chat. If I go hunting with some of the knights, I was thinking to stall the armor. Go to the seek out the astral apprentice. Let's go. Let's go with the astral apprentice. You find Mira in the lowest chamber of Astragal's private tower. She seems surprised to see you, but ushers you in. The room is scattered with battered books, and chalk's diagram of mystical significance are drawn on every surface. Mira shot her red hair looks unbrushed, and she wear a black amulet in the shape of a spider web around her neck. Princess, you never usually visit me, she says. Is there something you wanted? Mira smiles at your hesitation in reply, attempt you to put you at ease. Say, I don't suppose you pick up new artifacts or magical power on your journey home, did you? Boring old astrologist hasn't given me anything new in weeks, and I'm bored going over the same stuff and over. Are you offer the Buddha medallion, yes? Mira seems pleased with your present. One second. Okay. Mira seemed pleased with your present. This should stay off boredom for a few hours anyway. Who would have thought learning magic would be so tedious? Though I suppose being a princess isn't the most exciting job at times too. She offered to teach you a simple spell. This one let you straighten enchantment. If you have any other magical gear, you could always try out. After 30 minutes practice, you think you have got you hang of it, and you thank Mira and excuse yourself. Once you are alone, you immediately cast a spell on yourself, hoping that it will boost the power of your ring in case anyone should try and dispel it. You have a sweet meal with the king and his courtiers. Thoughts of Margaret's letter turns around and around in your mind, and barely enjoy the boiled lobster. King Elidor asks if you are feeling well, and you politely say that you are just a little bit tired. You excuse yourself and pace the corridor nervously. Eventually, you note the king has returned to his bed. You made up your mind. Tonight, he dies. And you are the same. I did it. I choose right. It's the same scene before, when I found the two knights in front of the king's door. I wish to speak with my father, please, you say to them. He has retired for the night, my lady. It is important? Yes, vitally so. The guards nod and uncross their halberds. You reach for the door handle. But now I can pass because I boost the magical power of my ring. You open the door and cross the threshold. As soon as you pass under the archway, you feel a tingling sensation run all through your body. The tingling sensation fades. The tingling sensation is when they discover that I'm an orc. The tingling sensation fades, and you gently close the door behind you. You enter the king's sumptuous bedroom decorated with ornate tapestry. The king lies upon his grand four-poster bed atop silken sheet. Okay? Not shit. He is snoring gently, obviously to you presently. Gingerly, you take a pillow and hold it over his face. It doesn't even struggle, and soon his breathing ceases. You remove the pillow and gaze down upon the corpse of King Elidor. You feel it a bit sad for some reason, but then you think back to all the orcs that must be died at his hand. Returning the pillow, you let out a blood-curdling scream. The two guards come rushing in, gazing about to see what the matter, looking dumbstruck upon their deceased ruler. You fall sobbing into their arms of one of them, who escorts you from the room while the other guard respectively pulls a bed sheet over the body of King Helidor of Zamarra, first overslain. You awaken pretty refreshed, but try to act as if you slept badly to the maid dressing you. She sobbed openly as she tightened your corset. By a shock, you can't wait to be rid of this particular item of clothing. She doesn't even react when you gather your equipment before leaving the room. The whole castle is in mourning, noble dressed in black, and silk bow and courteous white soldier with black and handkerchief tied around their arms salutes you as you pass. Some come up to pass on their sympathies, others just shake their heads sadly as you go by. You reach the throne room to see several powerful lords in discussion with the royal physician. All bow as you come closer. The royal physician tells you that he was unable to say how your father died exactly, but he saw no evidence of a foul play. His heart went through a lot on losing you. At least he died happy to have you returned to him. You thank your lucky star to the Asgadal is still absent. The old greasy body will tentatively have launched a much deeper investigation into Helidor's death. Conversation soon as to when you will crown queen. The next couple of days are spent in long conversation with your courtiers, with Lord Rudolph of Dead. There is some discussion as to whether a suitable betrothal should be made before you are crowned. No queen has ever sat alone upon the dragon throne, mutters grey-bearded. Okay, let's pause this. I will be right back in, let's say, 20 minutes. So let's do this. Okay, we're back. We're back. Uh, we're back. So, we finally killed Rudolfo, we finally killed the king. Now, we must wait Margaret to come and finish his plan. But with the princess out, running, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. No queen has ever sat alone upon the dragon throne, mutters grey-bearded Laura Tannicus. You try to dissuade them from this talk. After all, the plan is to marry Margaret when he shows up, so you can allow yourself to be betrothed in the meantime. One morning, when a maid is patiently braiding your hair, obviously you're all impatient with the procedure, a manservant knocks at the door. "My lady," he says, the wizard Margaret has arrived with his condolence. "Yes, good. Send him into the audience room. I shall be there presently." You rise, telling the maid that your hair can wait, and don your cloak. You stride into the throne room and take a seat on the dragon throne, crossing your legs and giving the waiting wizard what you hope is an imperious look. "We are delighted to welcome you in our halls, good wizard," you say. "You wish us to pay your respect to my departed father?" The wizard twists his lips then, as he suddenly remembers himself, bow low. "Indeed, yes, your highness. King Elidor was a good man who loyally protected our order for Ostrogoth and Jaxarth. He will be missed and remembered. By a shock he is slain on it, a bit thick. Still, you thank him for his flowery words. I also have a message for you, princess." But he looks toward the armored guards, bustling servant and snoopy courtiers. "Perhaps we could talk somewhere more private? I believe your father used to sometimes make use of the vestibule on the left for such matters." You nod and rise from your throne, following the wizard up a short flight of stairs into a small vestibule, closing the door gently behind you. The wizard takes a seat in one of the two chairs and motions for you to do likewise. You take a seat opposite to the wizard. "Well, Margaret, we have finally reached the last stage of the plan." "That depends." He drawls his hand, idly playing with a small glass ornament on the table. "Did you kill King Elidor, as your extractor smothered him with his own pillow?" The wizard frowned. "As I suspected." He gives a twist of the ornament, and suddenly the floor gives way beneath your chair, sending you plumbering towards. "Oh my God, it's not him." You land hard in the cavernous room lit by glowing crystal on the stone walls. You pull yourself up from the wreckage of the chair and notice with alarm that the room is filled with stone statues, all frozen in awkward pose of sheer terror. You hear a laugh from high above and look up to see Margaret gazing into the pit. With a cruel smile, the wizard removes a ring from his finger. It doubles up as his body starts to change, his frame slimming, wrinkles fading, beard shrinking into a proud chin, lank hair turning into a lustrous golden brown. The transformation's complete. Standing above you is the smirking face of the real Princess Zamarra. Fuck me. Margaret should watch where he placed these magical rings of this, she says. It wasn't hard to escape what I stolen of them. Sadly, I wasn't quick enough to save my poor father, but I shall see he avenged. Grandfather keep a basilic down there to deal with unwelcome visitors. I wonder if he's still alive. Have fun finding out. Laughing, she closed the trapdoor, leaving you only the light of the wall crystal. You see a door at the far end of the room, but no sooner have you taken a step toward it that you hear an ominous slithering noise. Knowing that the basilic's gaze can turn any creature to stone, you close your eyes tightly and fail blindly with your weapon. The creature hisses in your face, unused to such spirit. As your eye closes, you must subtract 2 from your attack strength from the duration of the battle. I can use Potion of Fortune. You drink the Potion of Fortune, increase your initial luck by 1 point and raise your current luck to this new level. Let's fight. Is dead. Having slain the great serpent, you open your eyes one more and, being careful not to gaze at the corpse's face, make your way to the far door. You enter a large circular room with a grand vaulted ceiling supported by marble pillars. The same glowing crystals line the walls, lighting up a large stone statue standing on a circular plinth in the middle of the room. A horse with 1 hoof raised in a circular indent on his forehead. Inscribed on the plinth there are the words, "The legendary beast." Paintings of members of the royal family line in the walls, and a set of stairs curves along the far wall to end at wooden door. The doors swing open at your touch and you emerge into the royal library. The door then swings closed behind you. On this side it just looks like another shelf. Its shelf creaking underneath heavy tomes and every gap stuffed with scrolls of old parchment. The library is deserted, but you can hear the sound of a hurrying feet approaching from the corridor. The princess and Bahadur burst into the library. He, with his hard dawn and confused look upon his face, as he sees what seemed to be a second princess before him. "Don't be deceived by her dark sorcery," says Zamarra. "Kill her quickly." Bahadur looks between the two of you uncertainly. "Bahadur, how can you doubt me?" shrieked the princess. "I can recite 3 dozen of an ancestral line. Can she? Oh, fuck! Fuck! You hesitate with Bahadur's war before you. You find it hard to even remember the name of Elidor's father. "You see?" snapped Zamarra. "Kill her!" Bahadur narrowed his eyes and stride towards you. "He's dead!" And let me go up. Now what, bitch? Now fucking what? You eat a portion of your provision, restore 4 stamina point. On seeing you're victorious and advancing on air covered in her blood, the princess screams and turns tail to flee back up the corridor. You race after her, eager to end this. Test your stamina. Go for it. The Yara is swift, but you are determined she not escape. Steadily you close her down and then seize her by the collar. She squeals as you whip around and hurl her out the nearest window. You watch as you stumble into space. She screams, lost into the wind. Her body cracks against the rock below and tumbles into the blue Potamus River. The rapid current soon sweeps her broken body out of sight, and you breathe a sigh of relief. Composing yourself, you re-enter the throne room. "Are you okay, my lady?" asked Lasky. "A couple of men said you were saying something about an impostor. What happened to Margaret?" "Don't let it bother you, good captain," you say with a smile. "It's all been dealt with." The days wear on, and you find yourself growing comfortable in the role of a ruler. Your advisor no longer speak over you and try to force their own ideas on you. Instead, listening carefully to your counsel and nodding sagely at your proclamation. You often inspect the soldier at their drill, and they always snap to attention as you pass. You enjoy making battle plans with your general, suggesting the possibility of expanding into Kazan. "The tribes are strong and ruthless," cautioned one Red Bird general. "We could make an alliance with the local orc tribes," you say, "many of them driven out of Sharabas after the fall of Chingits, and are hungry for Kazan's blood. We can use them to take over the tribe while our army moves on the capital. The select army is weak and cannot stand long before our disciplined knights." "War with Kazan?" mused another general with a slight smile. "Why not? And the beginning of Zamarran Empire. First Kazan, then Gorak, then Transoalia, then over to Zimorian in the Inland Sea, maybe as far as Harion. You are growing so enraptured with your rulership that it comes as a surprise when a servant announced the arrival of Margaret. Cautious of being tricked again, you allow the wizard into the throne room, but surreptitiously check that he is not wearing any rings. The wizard thanks you for seeing him and drops on one knee, declaring his love for you and asking you your hand in marriage. Your courtiers gasp, amazed at the wizard's audacity. You take a deep breath. This is the final part of Margaret's plan. Taking as your husband, and when he's king, leave the citadel as an orc once more, loaded with half of royal treasury. But you, of course, but you do still want to follow with the plan. Yeah, I want to return to be an orc. Even though it's fine to be a ruler, but I want to be. Yes, but if I said yes. Take him as an husband, and when he's king, leave the citadel as an orc one more, loaded with half of royal treasury. I mean, after the proposal and becoming king, don't you think he will probably keep me as a princess anyway? Plus, no, I'll refuse. Refuse. You stand up, chin raised, out there, a low-born old fool like yourself, declaring himself worthy of my hand and the dragon throne. Margaret eyes narrow, suddenly worry. You continue. This is the second time with your shape had darkened my doors. The first was an assassin, and I do not doubt you also have dark scheme in mind. Guards, kill this wizard. The soldiers draw the sword, but hesitate. Without a trial, your highness, asked Lasky. It is too dangerous to be allowed to live, you cry. His very words ensorcel men's heart. Why you conniving? I'm not a pirate. Why you conniving little? Margaret begins, then break off as the soldier close in on him. He ducks under one clumsy swing of a sword and sends a streak of lightning from his hand to the chest of a young soldier, cooking the poor youth inside his metal armor. The ladies in attendance shriek, cowering behind the throne as Margaret sends a fireball at Lasky, the old veteran leaping out of the way at the last second. Just as Margaret begins muttering another spell, you pull a crossbow from the trembling hand of a recent recruit and let fly with a bolt. It thuds into the wizard's chest. The rest of his spell lost. He turns to you with an expression that is a mixture of hatred and respect before you send another bolt into the temple, silencing the wizard for good. You command Lasky to take the wizard's body away, demanding his head to be placed on a pike, and warning to all who would oppose the dragon Princess of Zamarra. White-eyed Lasky salutes and hurry off to fulfill your command. With a smile, sit back to the throne, your throne. Oh my God. 2 weeks later, you are crowned amongst must rejoining. You have proven yourself capable ruler, and the crowd are keen to see the fulfillment of your promise of renewed glory of the country. The next few years are one of conquest and triumph. You broker a peace with the orc tribe of the area, appearing to them as Queen of Zamarra, and showing what seemed them an incredible amount of respect and knowledge of their customs. Just like Ostrogoth, you unite the warring tribe together and earn their loyalty with promises of plunder and pillage. You then begin to conquer of southwest Cool, using the orcs as your shock troops, sending them in to harry the farmlands and dive people into the cities, with your armies swooping to lay siege. A combination of starving the city's defenders and promising to protect them from the rampaging orcs, soon see city after city fall to you. The Khazanid tribe put up the most resistance, using guerrilla tactics and praying for one of the select to arise to save them. When every single hit of the select is mounted on spike above the gates of Sharavas, though they eventually fall in line. Gorak falls much quicker than Transohalia. The dragon flag of Zamarra is soon flown in every city in the western Cool, and the rich city-states of the inland seas start to gaze westward worriedly. They constantly warring state make a last desperate alliance against you, but they are not match for you as force. Soon all cool will be under the Dragon Manor. As the year passes, you notice that you do not age. The magic of the ring was designed to make you take the form of the 20 years old Dayahara and keep it doing so as long you kept it on it. You find you soon forget your life as an orc, and how you have been Dayahara so long it's been to be the only reality you have ever known. Bards sing of the empire of the eternal Queen Dayahara, the Black Dragon. Long may she reign. Congratulations, you are completing a Princess of Zamarra. Yeah, fuck this dude, okay? Fuck Margaret. Cause let's see what will happen if I choose to go with the flow, to accept his proposal. Margaret is overjoyed while the nobles can barely believe that this low-born hag wishes to become the new king. Several considerous voice are concerned, but your mind is made up. The high priest of Galana soon agrees a date for your wedding and joint coronation. While you wait, Margaret assumes the role of a king to be with gusto, making proclamation from the battlement clad and in ostentatious finery. When the day arrives, he is green from here to here and awaits you at the altar of Galana. Lord Taniscus lead you up to the hazel. Gossip whispered from either side. Your dress is made of the finest silk, woven by the nuns of Galana themselves. You allow yourself a little smile at the throat of this revenant woman making a wedding dress for an orc. You reach the altar and take Margaret's hand, reciting the vows before the priest and all the dignitaries of Southwest School. After you married, you sit on carved wooden thrones, and the priest place golden crowns upon both your head, declaring as you king and queen of Zamarra. Then comes the wedding feast, where your new husband tells all you assembled of the grand plans he has for Zamarra and how he will make the dragon throne a center of power once again. A few of the foreign dignitaries shift uneasily at that. Then, at last, the ordeal is over and the guests file out. 3 days later, you awaken in your chamber. Yawn and stretch. Margaret is nowhere to be seen, so you call for your maid. She enters immediately and she screams on seeing you. 30 seconds later, several armed soldiers race into the room, sword drawn. Oh, I knew it. Margaret is behind them. Who are you? How dare you lie in the royal bed? He snapped. You start to protest, then catch your reflection in a full-length mirror across the chamber. The reflection of an orc. Then you look down at your hand and see the ring has been removed during the night. This insult cannot be allowed, continues Margaret. Kill this creature quickly. Motherfucker. The soldiers are only happy to oblige. You cannot possibly fight all of them. And then as you lie dying, Margaret stoops over you. I'm sorry. I don't share, he whispered. I knew it, motherfucker. But I won. 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 Good story, good story, good story. I like. I enjoyed the adventure. Very well. See you for the next time. I wish everybody peace, balance, love, and serenity.